So my coach would always tell us, like, when you're as an attacker or as a team that's attacking, when you're already inside of the penalty box, then your opponent's house is burning, right? So um same with you. Like, if your opponent is within your penalty box and your house is burning, and that means like everyone has to compress as much as possible, right? Because you don't want to be scored up against. But when you're on the opposite, when you switch your roles and you're the ones within the goal, uh I think beyond like the the specifics and the details, it really, for me, what resonates is the attitude that you bring. Like, when you're inside of the goal and you're already there, I mean, you're inside of the penalty box and you're already there, just like, just shoot it, right?
Hmm.
Like, and those are that attitude and that confidence to shoot it, again, comes from the trainings and the preparation that you take right before or throughout your preparation stage. Because I'm a firm believer that you feel ready when you prepare. And I think there's this cheesy line that it's that we say, which is, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So I just focus more on the first part. So you just really need to prepare, right? You need to prepare because that the hours that you put in, the work that you put in, is the one that gives you confidence within yourself, that at that specific moment, you don't think twice already if you can do it or if you can't do it. It's more of like, hey, I did this like 10,000 times in training.
Mm,
Whether or not this shot goes in, I know it will go in, right?
yeah.
So it's really that attitude that you bring within the penalty box area. But at the same time, it's you being smart also. So by that, I mean, if you're at an angle wherein it may not be to like might not be the best option to score, you would have to quickly pivot, right, and look for your teammates or create another situation out of it. Personally, my favorite moves would be, if I'm on the wing cutting in, I would most definitely just take the shot. But if I don't
Nice.
have that option, I bring it to the baseline and then drive it in or cut it back. So, to summarize, really, the attitude that you bring, but at the same time, you're smart about it. You're not just, you know, just go, rah, rah, score. But at the same time, you're like, hey, is this the best option that that I can make for the team? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that reference of the house burning down if you're in the penalty box. That's good. Um, and also that the quote, in the sense that if you've trained something 10,000 times, I think there's a reference to um, I want to say Bruce Lee, but I'm not too sure. It's uh, be afraid of the person who's trained one punch 10,000 times, not the one who's trained 10,000 different punches only once. So,
Yeah.
um, like you said, the preparation is the main thing, and that side of training is something that it's all the things that aren't really seen until you get on the pitch and you actually
Yep.
show it.
Yep.
Um, to to almost digress from that and um, speak specifically to, okay, you have trained, but if I'm your opponent and I know you do certain things well, what is it actually like to go up against someone who maybe plays a little rougher, likes to
Mhm.
provoke you, whether that's through trash talk or giving a little more elbows than they should, not really caring too much about the referee's decision, but letting them know that you're there from the get-go. Um, how do you handle going up against teams that are a little more physical and also play those kind of mind games subconsciously or consciously, if you recognize it?
Correct. So I think that's a fun part about football because it's a contact sport. So if you,
Mhm.
right, if you can, and sometimes you will, right, you would be a little bit more physical than others. And I have gone against a lot of opponents who are physical, and
Mhm.
the only way to do that is really to just fight back. Like if
Yeah.
they make their presence felt, you make your presence felt more. Like okay, you're not gonna let yourself be pushed, because that's how you let them know as well that, oh, you're not just someone who's gonna be pushed around, right? So I think if you would ask my teammates, I would be one of the people who would really push or maybe pull a shirt or two, or really put my body in. And I do that just because, again, I'm a small player, but
Hmm.
I need to let them know also that I'm there. So like what Shalika said, when you're a defender, and I think that goes back to just being like the ideal athlete. You know, you let your presence be felt, and because in that way it's more of like you want them to be scared of you. You want them to be a little bit more cautious with you, right? So um but at the same time you have to manage that because
Hmm.
again we are human beings and we're emotional beings. So I think it's an added layer of becoming a professional also, when you know how to manage your own emotions, that um when you're in that situation you can't let that parang, okay, I'm gonna say a Tagalog word.
Okay.
So for all the Filipino viewers, don't get picon or don't get irritated. You will, but it's more about just again switching on and reeling your thoughts and emotions back in, and uh, just going back to the present
Hmm.
and just doing your job, right? Because at the end of the day, if you let your emotions take over, then it ruins the rest of your game, to be honest. It's about your performance, right? So if you let it become your emotions, then voila, you'll just get subbed out because you will get no you your mind will get um out of focus, and that's the worst thing that you could let yourself to happen inside the game.
Hmm.